Okay, so if it wasn't obvious already, I'm not a doctor, but I wanted to talk about this pill that might be made available at some point in the near future called azelaprag, I believe. Hold on, I wrote it down. Azelaprag, yes. So this is a pill that basically is going to do the exercise for you, in theory. So my understanding is that it both replicates and enhances the effects of exercise. So with that, I would then assume that if you are not working out at all, and you take this pill, it's going to basically mimic the effects of exercise to some extent. And then if you're already working out, then you are going to get more of a benefit from your workout. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath because I'm in the middle of my workout. Whew. Hold on. I'll do my last warm-up set here real quick. But yeah, with something like the fat loss drugs like Ozempic, with those being now made available, we have the fat loss drug essentially, and now we might have the exercise drug. Because just because you're losing fat doesn't mean you're automatically healthy, like you'll be healthier. But now we have that plus this. So what does that say about us? Now this is going to be kind of a rant because human beings, it seems, one of the big purposes behind being a human being is to progress, make some sort of progression towards a better life, a better future. Not everybody has the same intentions with what that means exactly, but it seems pretty clear that we're just always trying to advance something. And now we're at the point of AI where, basically the computers, the robots, whatever, are doing the things for us, a lot of the things. And we also have, as I said, something like Ozempic helping us to lose the fat. And now we might have a pill that's going to help us get the benefit of working out without even having to work out if we don't want to. So yeah, all of these pills, all of these supposed advancements, I think it's just a slippery slope. And we already know that with something like, again, the only one I can think of by name is Ozempic, but take something like Ozempic, sure, it helps you to lose fat, but it does not help you to maintain your muscle. So it's not like this perfect thing. And a lot of these pills, these medications, I can only assume you're not going to be able to stay on forever without some sort of health ramification. And that very much goes for the fat loss drugs. And the majority of people who've come off, they gain weight back. And I can't help but think there'll be something in that vein with this exercise pill. But even beyond that, how freaking lazy do we have to be? Like, what is the end goal here? Like, what are we ultimately progressing towards becoming with things like this as ideas for a solution to something? Of course, I'm a personal trainer, so I want people to work out. I want people to get all of the benefits of working out, which is not just this one type of thing you get. You get a lot out of the actual act of giving effort towards a workout. Let me warm up my gluteals quick. But yeah, when you're actually working out, there's a lot. There's the sort of delayed gratification of it. There's the mental health benefits behind doing your workout. That feeling of accomplishment. It goes beyond the physical benefits that you get. And then of course there's also a crossover between the physical and the mental, the emotional, all of that kind of coming together. And I'm not even trying to suggest that there might not be some benefit for some portions of the population, as in a more necessary benefit. But how is this not a slippery slope for just making people that much lazier, that much less, or that much more seeking out instant gratification? I don't know, is this what humans are meant to become? Is just these kind of lazy nothings? Like, I'm serious. Like, again, we can even look at AI and like all of what humans are going to allow AI to do for them. It's like we're just allowing all these things to do stuff for us, and it's like, what is the end goal? what is the end goal? Like just to merge with the machine and just become this perfect being of sorts? I don't know. Sounds a little sci-fi to me, a little dystopian. And also just in some ways too good to be true. Now I'm somebody who loves to work out. It's one of my hobbies, you see. So I can't imagine taking a pill as a replacement in any capacity. And of course, we already have performance enhancers such as exogenous testosterone, steroids, that basically enhances the effects of your workout. But, that was also a slippery slope. That's a whole other conversation. But it's just like, seriously, what is the end goal here? And how much of exercise is it going to mimic? Because, of course, I referenced the mental health benefits, just the discipline you receive from your workouts and how that can transfer to other parts of your life, make you a better person. Like, how much of those kind of things can you expect to get out of this pill? I don't know. It's very... I just also can't quite understand how there would ever be any sort of how someone could take pride in themselves if they're taking these shortcuts. But then again, if it becomes the norm to take the shortcut, then maybe it won't even matter. I don't know. There was a time when human beings needed to walk around, take a horse maybe, and then we get horse and buggy, and then we get the cars, and so on and so forth. I'm not necessarily saying having a car is a bad thing, but you could argue that's in the same vein as this conversation. And this is not the first time I've talked about this. Back when I used to do more video essays, I made a video on the history of fitness and how we essentially devolved over time, in large part because it became less necessary to move. And that was much more of an issue before the idea of being at the point in history where we could develop a fat loss drug or an exercise drug. Now it's kind of as I said, will it even matter anymore? Can we just rely on these things? I don't know. It just makes me feel icky to think about. Top set, baby. Ugh. Oops. So I might just get redundant if I go on, but I'd love to hear, for anybody watching, what you might think about this whole thing down in the comments below, because I don't know, I don't see much of a positive here. Sounds too good to be true, and also why would you want it to be true? Why would you, we already have enough of an issue with getting people to want to have discipline in something. So now we're basically giving them more of an excuse. It's it seems as though instead of helping people discover how, maybe dispelling the myths of exercise and fitness and really helping people understand the proper ways to eat and move, all that stuff, we've instead given up on that, it seems, as a species, not just on a individual basis. It's just it seems collectively in some way, what's the easier route is to be okay, we can't actually influence people enough to do the good thing for themselves. So we're going to instead actually create the pill to do it for them. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you for watching, and be sure to work out and you'll be happy and healthy.